Okay. Um, because I know they tell me I'm going to have decimal answers, I am going to do this the traditional way of dividing. However, I'm going to get each number combination as small as I can, if I can. In other words, 18 and 8 are both even numbers, so I can make those numbers smaller by cutting them in half. So I'm going to do that. Half of 18 is 9, and half of 8 is 4. So now I'm going to be 9, and I usually put 2 zeros after my decimal. Sometimes I need more, sometimes I need less. Okay, so I'm going to turn it into a decimal because I know that this does not divide out evenly. And the first number goes inside, the last number goes outside. Before you do any calculations, you bring your decimal straight up. Now 4 goes into 9 2 times, and then you go back and multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. You subtract. 9 take away 8 is 1. You bring down the next number, which is a 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. Now you multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. You subtract. 10 take away 8 is 2. Bring down the next number, which is a 0. And figure out how many times 4 goes into 20. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. You subtract, and you're finished. Now you don't, if you were not finished, if this were not 0, you'd have to just keep adding zeros at the end. But we are finished. Usually, a lot of times, 2 numbers after the decimal is enough. So 2.25 is the answer there. Okay, that nice little thing about making the numbers smaller for this next one, it doesn't work. Because 6 and 5, you can't divide those both by the same number other than 1. So I'm just going to make the first number, you write it as a decimal, and I usually start out with 2 zeros after my decimal. The second number goes outside. You bring the decimal up and you start dividing. 5 goes into 6 one time. Now multiply. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract. 6 take away 5 is 1. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract. Now when you get 0, you are finished. So we didn't need this extra 0 that I put originally. The answer to this problem is just 1.2. Okay, the next one, 14 and 8 are even numbers. I can cut them in half to make smaller, nicer numbers. So half of 14 is 7. Half of 8 is 4. So now I'm going to make this 7 a decimal number by putting 2 zeros after a decimal point, and then the 4 goes outside. I'm going to bring up my decimal point. Just always bring it straight up. Now 4 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract. I've got a 3. 7 take away 4 is 3. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Subtract. 30 take away 28 is 2. Bring down the 0. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 4 is 20. You subtract, you get 0. Whenever you get 0 after you subtract, you're finished. So 1.75 is the answer.